talented singer and songwriter on the hit show Nashville. He is one in real life as well. His debut solo album is called Love Ain't Pretty. It's available now wherever you get your music, so check it out. Everybody say hello to friend of the show, Charles Esten. They gave him the extra because we love Charles.
Thanks for the extra.
Yeah. I didn't know this about you, but you and I feel like I've known you for a bit, but like you started on Broadway.
I started on Broadway. I didn't finish it.
I know, but I didn't know that.
Well, I mean, I love that. New York suits you really well. I can tell that, Kelly. It comes right through the screen. And it suited me for a quick minute. I was in Los Angeles and auditioned for the show called Smokey Joe's Cafe. It was a review of the songs of Lieber and Stoller. So great.
I performed that in pop choir in high school.
You did? Well, years before that, I auditioned for the Broadway show, and I just had a really great audition. For years before that, I would get a vocal audition for a Broadway show, and they go, all right, they want to see a callback. And I go, for what? And they say, oh, it's a dance audition. I go, well, I don't dance, so I probably shouldn't go do that.
Yeah, just show up and lie and say you can.
No, well, that's what they said. They just want to see if you can move, and apparently I can't move. But anyway, this one audition, I just was free and loose. I did a couple Elvis songs. Hound Dog, Lieber and Stoller wrote Hound Dog and Jailhouse Rock.
Yeah.
And so I think I bamboozled them. And then I went here on Broadway, and we were rehearsing in the studios downtown. And I looked around, and I was surrounded by people that were just legit Broadway talent. My leading lady was Delee Lively, and she was unbelievable, such a great dancer, singer. And then I think it was about 3 weeks in, the director finally showed up to see where we were. And I could just see on his face him watching me. You know that thing where you have like imposter syndrome, and you're like, I don't belong here, and everybody's gonna figure that out.
Still have it.
I have that often. Yeah.
Well, they figured it out. He looked at me, and he said, in front of everybody, he stopped the whole thing. He goes, Chip, let me ask you a question. Do you dance? And I said, well, Jerry, that falls under things you should have asked at the audition. And I said, I'm doing my best. I will get it by showtime. I promise you that. About a week later, he gave me a very nice phone call, and he said, we really appreciate your hard work, but we're going to have to... So they recast the role. And the first thing I found out was that I had a contract. So I got paid for a year for not being in that show.
Well, that's like the one time you're thankful for contracts.
It was unbelievable. I'm 6 months in. I go to my mailbox. I'm like, honey, I got a raise. I got a bump in 6 months. So, and another thing I found out is if I had done that show, I would not have been available to get on Whose Line Is It Anyway, which changed my life, being on that show for a number of years. And then a final two things. Years later, 6 or 8 years later, we're walking some fair in L.A., and we see Delee Lively and her husband, who was the guy they replaced me with.
Oh. All these things had to happen.
They had 3 kids. They had one in her arms, one in the stroller, one walking, and they were amazing. And we talked, and it was relieving. I go, I think it's very important that you guys understand and know and remember that you have all this bliss. You have this paradise, because Charles Esten can't dance.
You're welcome. So this is your first solo album. So are you excited about that or nervous about that?
I'm really excited. You know, by the time it's out, you just want to get it out. I put out a ton of singles over the years.
That's what I mean, yeah.
When I went to Nashville, it really opened music all the way open again. Like it was a door that I sort of stepped away from. It was what I did first. In college, I was in a band and all these things. Yeah. But I ended up doing the acting. That drew me away. I would improvise songs on Whose Line or things like that. Yeah. But so from then, I started putting out a bunch of singles. I think I've always held the album as something special because I grew up with albums that
actual stories,
you know,
like
they
the whole
meant something. Like when you'd listen on the radio and you'd hear a song, and you immediately knew the song that followed it on the album.
That's
You could hear it coming, or you knew the run of it. And so, you know, albums like Born to Run, where it was like a movie to me, and here comes Meeting Across the River and Jungle Land and all these things. So I sort of held the album in such high regard that I wanted to take some time. I wanted to figure out who I am as an artist. You knew that instantly. Just your voice.
You know what? I didn't.
You didn't?
No, because you know why? I love everything. I love every kind of music, so that's the hard thing about me.
So you could sing like the other great singers, and you had to slowly not sing
I just mean like finding your own sound. Like when someone says, what is your sound? I'm like, I don't know. Like, I don't, I guess pop.
That's
'cause
crazy
it's, like,
to me
popular,
because
whatever.
I would think you would. It seems to me, but I'm the same way. Like I've sung like so many other people. I started off playing Buddy Holly in the West End.
Yeah.
And on Whose Line, you'd be singing a song like Sting or Bono or
Yeah.
Neil Young or whatever. So by the time I got to Nashville, I was trying to figure out who I am, what I wanted to say.
I think that's always evolving as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, that's
because
it.
it's who you're inspired by as well. Yeah. Do you remember like your first, like, I don't know, your first concert you ever went to, your first time you were inspired by an actor that made you want to act? Like,
Yeah, I mean, I watched, stand-up specials. Robert Klein was a comedian that, and when you start doing stand-up, you kind of start taking on their cadence and stuff like that until you kind of
yeah, we're all
find
imitators
yourself.
until you
exactly.
find. Yeah.
So that was, for sure.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay, everybody, Charles is performing for us later, so stick around. It's so good. All the lines are good in it. It's like very well written. And up next, it's a story that's very personal for Charles. We're going to meet an incredibly brave kid who fought cancer and won. Yes. Now she's helping other kids do the same. We'll be right back. Years ago, Charles went through an ordeal that no parent wants to experience. At 2.5 years old, his daughter was diagnosed with leukemia. Thankfully, she got through it, and today she is cancer-free. But Charles knows how difficult that roller coaster is for any kid and for their family. That's why he wanted to meet our next guest. She, too, is a childhood cancer survivor. She is also the founder of a huge nonprofit that helps kids and their families worldwide cope as they battle cancer. At age 15, she is one of our youngest rad humans ever. All right, y'all. From the Koenig Childhood Cancer Foundation, please welcome Elana.
Hello, Elana.
Hi. It's so nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you,
I'm
too.
such a big fan.
Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you so much. She's a fan of Jessie on the Disney Channel.
Oh,
I played the dad on Jessie.
Oh my God, that's amazing. I forget that part. I forget that.
Yeah, I know. It was such a long time ago.
Yeah, it was. You were just a little kid then, right?
I know.
You're so old and wise now.
Yeah.
It's like, so how old were you when you were diagnosed?
Yeah, so I was actually diagnosed right before my 8th birthday in 2016. It was such a stressful time. My mom was sort of the first one who realized that something was wrong with me because I was limping. She brought me to the hospital immediately. She rushed me to get help. I didn't want to go because hospitals are scary for kids my age. But when I got the diagnosis, everything sort of changed after that. I had to live in the hospital for 1.5 years. I had 9 cycles of chemo, 15 surgeries. It was the most significant time of my life. I can't even express how much it affected me, but luckily I'm 6 years cancer-free right now.
It's hard on you and it's hard on your family. I imagine your family, like what y'all went through when your daughter was diagnosed, like that,
yeah.
you were in and out, right, of hospitals?
Well, when I hear her tell the story, our daughter was 2.5 when Addie was diagnosed, and she had about 2 years of chemotherapy herself. There she is, but I've always thought it was an incredible blessing that she was so young that she didn't really understand any of it. So it was like a new day, and she didn't know she was going to be losing her hair. She didn't know that she had a spinal tap the next day, and that was a real blessing when I see kids who are a little bit older that. Elana was old enough to understand so much of what was going on, so it always blows my mind. But I always find again and again when I meet these kids that have been through this that you can already tell she's different. She has this strength, she has this charisma, this power, this intelligence. So I'm not surprised at all.
Yeah. Explain the foundation to everybody.
Yeah, so I'd like to think that I turned my pain into an opportunity. I started it in 2020 with the support of my family. I couldn't have done it without them. Yeah. I wanted to help the kids in the hospital who I had connected with during my treatment. It started with that, with only $900 in my piggy bank. But then it sort of...
That's a pretty good piggy bank. I don't know if my piggy bank ever made that. I bought too much music. I was like, yeah.
I know, after that, it grew into a $1.5 million charity. Yeah, we help kids financially, emotionally. We have gift bags that we deliver to the hospital that we put items in based off of what I went through. We have socks, squishies, handmade cards, brochures if they want to register for help. We pay for medical bills. We've helped over 30,000 families worldwide. We've delivered 3,500 goodie bags. We've had 2,500 celebrations and visits with kids in the hospital. I'd like to think that all we do is for the kids, especially knowing how far I've grown since I beat cancer.
Yeah. You beat it. I love saying it like that. Yeah. So I don't know, you got your message out in a very creative way, I feel.
Yeah.
Like you were singing the national anthem, right? How did that idea come about?
Yeah, so I have been connected with music long before I was diagnosed. I've been taking singing classes since I was 6 years old. I sang to other kids in the hospital. I sang in talent shows. I'd like to think it, soothed them, it helped them as well as it helped me. So after I started my foundation, I got opportunities like the Mets game, which was very exciting.
Yeah.
That was a vital moment in sharing my experience, sharing my message, the cause. And since then, I've been using my voice to help kids in the hospital. Yeah.
Well, I know that, Charles, you want to say something to Elana, right?
Well, absolutely. First of all, I think sometimes you meet people and you go, this is somebody where cancer messed with the wrong person.
Yeah.
Because you're coming back and fighting it on behalf of so many others. Because of our daughter, Addie, my wife, Patty, and I started years ago a thing called Team Addie, and we raise money for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society with Team Addie. And my question to you is, have you been to Nashville before? Have you been to Music City?
I have not.
Well, I was wondering if we could fly you to Music City and you could be a part of our next benefit concert. Would you do that? Would you do that? Oh, thank you. Please, thank you. Oh, sweetheart. Thank you, lovely. We appreciate that. We thank you so much.
You're gonna love it. If you like music, and I think people always think with Nashville, they just think country music, which it is, obviously, very much a core part of that city. But everybody's there, like rock and roll people, singer-songwriters, blues singers, like it doesn't, pop singers. I lived there for like 12 years. Like it's just a place you can go if you love music and it's therapeutic. There's so many shows to see, so many places and people to meet, to network with. It's a really cool. You're gonna love it.
I'm so excited.
Yeah. Thank you, Charles.
Oh, thank you guys.